All right, we got half moon to attend to, so welcome in. It's a half moon class for the half moon in the sky, which is a beautiful opportunity to really recognize that you're at a halfway point with the sun and the moon at a 90-degree angle to each other. And the part that is illuminated and the half that is in shadow is not unlike what we feel in our own experience, in our own mental, emotional experience of the world, where some days you just feel super vibrant. Maybe you're a full moon. Some days you feel like you're going into the cocoon, where there's none of the moon visible. And then some days you're sort of half in, half out. And what a beautiful place to take a pause, actually, right before the winter solstice, as we go into the darkest day of the year, and we get to really, this is a good time. We're in that seam, a really potent place where you can take stock of all the things that have transpired over the last solar year and over even just the last half of this lunar calendar. So just 2 weeks time, a lot happens. But let's drop in and discover your breath, illuminate what parts of you are willing and able to receive, and then love and nurture the parts of you that feel a little shadow or dark. And we'll see if we can start to blend the two sides of the coin, or the two halves of your moon. And the sweet breath coming in through your nose, out through your nose. And as you draw left and right palm together, just feel the two halves making a whole. And that is certainly one of the most beautiful things about the moon, reflecting the light of the sun. You can look up on the half moon and you can see the shadow side, and you can see the illuminated side. So let those two aspects of self unite right in the center. We'll take the sound of Om just once. So really fine tune and receive your breath, receive a deeper calling to the offering you're about to make, and like pour yourself into it. Nice long breath in. And the complementary exhale. Inhale. Oh. Release your hands and open your eyes. All right, you will need 2 blocks. If you don't have 2 blocks, you can get by without it, but I know it will help. So, and you may need to pad your knees if your knees feel sensitive. We'll step your right foot forward, hands on your blocks. There's lots of things we can focus on in a practice, and we have a short time today, so we'll start to find the pulsation between expansion and contraction. And go ahead and push down through your front heel when you pull the leg to straight, spread your toes. So even if you, what's the saying? Shoot for the moon, and if you miss, you'll land upon the stars. So spread your toes like starlight. And we'll give you one thing out of probably 100 that we could focus on for a half moon. And for a lot of people, we experience a discomfort or like even a cramp in this muscle in your upper outer hip when we transition from like triangle or side angle to a half moon. And here's the main reason why. If you come into a nice deep lunge and you put your hand up at the crease of where your leg and your hip unite, and you come into the deepest lunge you can go, where your body says, okay, that's it. It's going to feel constricted in here. It gets quite dark, like the dark side of the moon. And if you open it up and move your hips back, you'll find that softens and you get a little more space. So what we want to learn is how to wrap your front buttocks down and under like you're folding a sheet under the corner of the bed. So make your heel the pivot point, and we'll open your half moon out so your toes turn in, and then we'll close the hip down and under like you're sliding that sheet under the corner of the bed until your toes start to turn out your leg. And we'll do that a few times. This is called inner spiral and outer spiral. Harder to do is when the leg is bent. So we'll take the half moon out and wide. You can even shift your heart a little to your left. And then as you roll the buttocks down and under, you're going to feel a contraction on that underside where your butt meets your hamstring. Now, if you take and open your pose so that you're standing on your back knee with the front foot forward, we can do that again, and you can go out and in and wrap the buttocks down and just try to find that rolling of the buttocks flesh down and under, which will tone the lower fibers of your abdominals from your pubic bone to your belly button. And then place the blocks to the side, hands to the earth. Lift your back knee and take a dog pose, pedal out dog pose. Inhale, plank. Lower to your belly. Deep, bright breath in through the heart. Little cobra. Up and back, downward dog. Drawing the feet to the midline between. Illuminate the body with breath as you lift left leg up and back. Now step the left foot outside your left wrist. Right knee to the earth. Come back up to your blocks. And we'll start by just that gentle pulsation where you bend and straighten your front leg. And coordinate a sweet inhale and exhale. Now holding your front leg straight, go ahead, push through your heels, spread your toes, and we'll take the heart a little to your right, let the hips move back to the left, especially that half moon on the left buttocks, and then wrap the buttocks down and under until your leg and your toes turn outward. That's called outer spiral. And so we'll go in and out. And this is good, just bringing movement to your hips, opening the hamstring. Now, as you bend the front knee, you want to compact that outer left buttocks in, down, and under. And hopefully when you come up, you can find that you still have some space between the front of your pelvic bone and your thigh bone. So now pivot your right foot back for modified Parsvakonasana. And here's the fun part. So you want to keep the top of your bottom leg, your right leg moving back towards your toes, even as you wrap the front buttocks down and under. So pulling the left leg down and under could push the right femur bone forward. Try not to do that. Keep the right thigh bone back and try to isolate just that left hip. And we'll come into a lunge. Hands to the earth. Lifting right knee. Big bright breath. Exhale, dog. Sinking into the breath. Draw your shoulder blades on your back. And with a powerful inhale, pull to plank. Keep the underside of the belly lifting as you lower to the ground. And open up, cobra. And exhale, dog pose. Feet together. Inhale, right leg high. Step your foot outside the right wrist. Turning left heel down to the floor. Help yourself up. Now watch this. Pull the front buttocks down and under, and then lift. Warrior two. Press the upper left thigh bone back so far that you shoot a full moon. Keep the left thigh back, but roll the right buttocks down and under. Feel that tone of the low belly. Stand up beautifully into warrior two. Pull the feet towards the midline as you straighten your front right leg. Lift up into your heart. Trikonasana. Triangle. And we will use your block. Placing left hand to your hip. We'll focus on the straightening and bending of your front leg as you wrap the front buttocks down and under. Bend your knee. And try not to let your belly collapse down. So keep the belly lifted, your front hip bone lifted. Push through your front foot like you were wanting to stand up. Now, pull the right leg straight. Generously pull the front buttocks down and under as you bend your knee, tracking the knee more towards fourth toe. And then one more time. Now here's the place where we collapse in the transition. So if you step your back foot forward, you've got just a footprint. Keep driving that front buttocks down and under instead of collapsing onto it. And then push from the buttocks to your heel as you move the block. So we're just asking this whole front leg, the buttocks, to really work. Now push from your butt to your heel and use the muscle to stand up. Keep driving and pulling that front buttocks down and under as you extend left arm up. And here's your half moon pose. Touch the back toes down by bending your front knee. Pull the front buttocks even more underneath. Push down and then step that foot back another little ways. There you go. Inhale, rise up. Deep breath in. And we'll close the pose from left to right. So push through your front right leg and step it forward. Inhale, reach up. Straightening the legs. Pour your heart into the moment. Forward fold. Inhale, side bodies long. And step back, downward dog. Deep breath in, plank. Exhale, lower. Open up, cobra. And take downward dog. Inhale, lift left leg. Now we're gonna pick on your right buttocks even just a little more than we already have. So here's how I instruct, when you take and stack the hips and you open up your dog pose. Most people say, so open up and stack your hip. Most people say stack your left hip over your right. And we'll come back to square. And the way I phrase it as a teacher, if you pull the right buttocks flesh down towards the right baby toe, stack your right buttocks under your left. And that way you're working that outer spiral. So try that again. Stack the right buttocks under the left. So it's the right leg doing the job. And then you square your hips, step your left foot outside the wrist, turn the right heel down, pull the left buttocks down and under. Think of the bed sheet rolling under the corner of the bed, and then lift yourself up. And we'll take your block. With your hand on the block, so if you go into a deep forward fold here, you've got to use your outer left buttocks instead of letting your belly collapse. Pull the buttocks down and tone the belly back, front body to back body. Better. There you go. Now straighten your left leg, inhale. Work on that front buttocks as you bend the knee and firm your core. And straighten and bend. Now we'll use that front buttocks to step the right foot partway in and ground the left buttocks down and under even more. Then move your hand. From the outer left buttocks, push through the heel to liberate the right leg. Deep breath in, extend right arm. Nice. Cognizant, bring your awareness to the dark side of the moon, the part that you can't see, your back left buttocks. Firm it, engage it, and use it to tap the right foot down. Use it even more to set the right foot further back. Yeah, nice. Deep breath in, big breath out, square the hips, downward dog. And let's do this. Lift right leg up and stack the left hip under the right hip. And then square the hips. And then stack the left hip under the right hip. Good. One more time. And lower. Count of 5, lower your right leg and both knees to a child's pose. Just give yourself a breath here. And in this beautiful shape, both sides of your hips are doing the exact same action. You can even pull your buttocks down towards your heels and try to lift the front of your hips away from your thigh bones. If your little cat or dog wanted to crawl under your child's pose and nestle under your belly. Now give yourself a moment to reflect. And half moon's a beautiful shape because you are in, we go through a lot of that 90-degree angles in experiencing the half moon. And bring your hands right back up towards your knees, lift your chest, sit upright. Draw your hands to your heart. If you'd like to cross your legs and sit on your buttocks, go for that pose if sitting in Vajrasana is not good for your knees. And we'll come back to wholeness, where right hand and left hand unite at the center of the heart. If you practice with me regularly, you will know that your buttocks are, especially the lowest fiber, where your buttocks are touching your heels, where your buttocks create what I call your thut. And your thut is where your butt and your thigh unite. And we want to learn how to make that part of us very strong and wake it up so that it is the part that's holding us and carrying us through so much of our practice. And hopefully this little half moon soiree will give you some insight on how to do that. So I invite you to really honor how far you've come as a yogi, your progression, your time. Maybe all the key actions of today's practice have been integrated into your practice, and maybe it illuminated something new for you. And maybe the actions are still so new that it didn't make any sense at all. And one thing I know is if we keep showing up and honoring how we can step in and again and again and again, we start to blend the parts of us that still feel like we're in the dark with the parts that are alive and illuminated. And we find more peace in accepting all of it. We'll close with an Om. Full breath in. Long breath out. Inhale. Om. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste. And I do know that if you come back on Thursday, we'll elaborate and play with some Shavasana version of Ardha Chandrasana. Take it a little deeper. Have a beautiful rest of your day. Thanks for coming.